So when I did these heads, I put some ARP head studs because there was something wrong with the bolts. This motor was rebuilt. I think I wanted to put bolts. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know if it was reusing them. I just wanted new ones. And I was able to get these ARP bolts. Now it looks like there's nothing holding it, but the bolt is a lot thicker than it seems. But this really isn't an issue. I was able to torque it, way, like pretty much what the spec is supposed to be. But I just realized the rear one had antifreeze filling up. And the problem that I had, this is a metric thread, and the only one they had was this size or one size bigger, which was way too big. It's hard to make up for like an inch, or more even. It was like a big difference. Can't quite remember why I got these as opposed to reusing the old ones. There was some issue. I forgot what it was, but when I tightened this down, I felt it gotta go through. Because when I did the front, this one bottomed out. And then the other one, I was going till I bottomed out. I'm like, that's funny. It seems like there's more threads. And I think I punched through because they're supposed to be blind holes. And now I had antifreeze leaking. And basically where this little dish is here, it was filling up with antifreeze. So it has to be coming from the threads now. It's like it became a non-blind hole, which may not be a huge deal, but the casting had to be thin. So I'm putting, now I'm going to put some Teflon tape on this. Of course, it's the back one. And then I'm going to put it with the right stuff as well and hope it don't leak. At least not again. This is probably part of the leak I was getting, and then it would leak, and then it wouldn't leak, so I think that has something to do with it. But that was kind of a bummer, to be honest. It started up okay. I had to cycle the glow plugs like 3 times, so I was still worried that there was an issue. Possibly something happened to the glow plugs. Who knows anymore? I'm always doing. I try to do everything, and then let's see. No pressure, just how I like it. So no pressure in or out, I should say. So I just did all the brakes, the axles, the axle seals, calipers, brake hoses, all that good stuff. So once I take care of this issue, which I'm surprised it was an issue all this time, but I was seeing something leak way in the beginning and then just wouldn't leak, and I was assuming that it was the injector pump. Injector pump was definitely leaking this time because it was leaking more in the front. This was leaking like between the, the oil pan and the tranny pan. And I was like, that's weird. I'm like, I saw it leak before, but not there, It was leaking right in between there. So, but when I looked underneath, I probably was getting that, and, I just bled the brakes, so there was probably some brake fluid too. Every time I do this, I got like 3 fluids going on, so apparently this was a problem. So I'm going to fix that. Like I said, I'm not 100% proud of that, but it worked right away. So it's been like a little over 2 years that I did the heads. Driven a few thousand miles at least. In fact, I think I put 6,000 miles in 2020 on this car because I was using it as my everyday car for 3 or 4 months. So hopefully this is not too much of an issue, and it'll go back together. But definitely was leaking from there. Like I said, that the nut was filling up. But I was able to. It's such a strong bolt that even I couldn't put the washer for the head, which the original ones didn't have washers. So I just figured it'd be okay just without it. I mean, I had no choice at the time. I know what it was. The thread stripped on me. When I torqued the regular bolt in, the head stripped. So now I had to go deeper. So that's why I had to get a stud, because you couldn't use the next size head bolt anyway or anything close. So this is why I went with this. It's a tougher thread. I figured if there was less threads, I can grab it easier. And all that stayed. It's just that it's leaking up through this hole because it became a non-blind hole. So that's what it was. When I tightened the bolts, they stripped. So I'm like, what the hell? So what am I going to do? Hopefully this is not something indicative. We're just that we'll have to pull apart the engine again, because that would really suck. Because I never really had helicoiled, head bolts, you know. That's why I just assume it's fine if it goes down further, as long as it catches, but I got to put some shit on it. But it's a little on the short side. I wish they made something like in between, and even though, or if the one they made had all threads at a certain point, it would be fine as well. But this is what I'm dealt with. This is what I got to deal with, you know. But pretty much both end ones broke on me, because I believe in the front here, that's the original nut right there. Other than the leak I see, that's definitely something. And who knows if I have to do this one, but I'm pretty sure I did that one first and it went through, or this one I was able to go down past a certain point. It felt good and tight, and that was it, because I was trying to bottom it out in the hole. I think the hole, because you see, originally the head bolt was only going to go so far, but I forced it to go further, and that's there where the threads get thinner. The threads aren't being used in forever, so I think it, you know, even though it worked, it compromised one of the holes there. And it was just never designed. It was designed to be a blind hole, but it was never designed to break through, to have a bolt go all the way down to the bottom. So you got to be careful when you do that. So, all right, I'm going to go to this, and hopefully it works. All right, so as you can tell, see, that thing was all filled with antifreeze. I didn't put the stud in as far. I had a lot of threads, you know, and I just wanted to bottom it out. But I decided to, you know, put more threads on this side. But either way, it was like only 70 pounds. So for such a big bolt, it didn't even need to go that far. But you really can't get past 80. I tried just to move it a little bit. Once you hit the torque on these, they just don't move, you know. So I think that'll be fine. I had a lot of goop come out of it as I was putting it in. So I had extra goop on it. I had the Teflon tape. I probably could have put a little more Teflon tape, because it went in relatively easy. But considering that it didn't leak for a few years and it was relatively easy to remove, all things aside, if it happens again, I can try to do something different. But you know, I think it'll be fine.